to be practiced. And in the Inner Fitness Project, we talk about being practiced, purposeful, and whole. That was the title of the Phoenix Rising that we just completed. And practice just means putting in the time that it takes to develop skills that become default choices for us. You know, it's like where the mind or the heart goes to far more quickly than it does before we start to be mindful and intentional about how we live our lives, and before we learn concepts and principles that help us do that more effectively. So being practiced when it comes to how have you harshly judged yourself? A lot of times we are judging ourselves and don't even know it because it's so common. It's become such a habit in our thinking, such a adaptation to the surviving self dis-ease that is just sort of always in the background of our lives. So becoming aware of it and sitting in your observer's chair, catching yourself when you are thinking harshly about yourself, or you are speaking harshly to or about yourself, seeing yourself doing it and then going, oh my gosh, I see that I'm doing that, is the first thing. And then coming up with strategies and intentionality and practicing self-love prepares you to go, oh, I deserve so much more. I am not talking to myself like that. Cancel, cancel, cancel. That is not true. Up until now, I might have done that, but from this point forward, no, I don't get to talk to myself like that. You don't get to talk to me that way, right? I'll tell you that in my practice state, the way this can serve me at this point is I keep reaching for things that are really big, you know, and I don't mean it just in terms of goals. I mean it in terms of going places that I haven't been before. I'm expecting and am experiencing being in rooms where there are people who have lots of degrees behind their name in the space of well-being or the conversation of mental health, etc. And I get to stand in my space knowing what I know without a degree and feeling strong and adding value, and not from a proving place, but from a place of I know, I'm practiced. This is an exercise, just a fun little ditty of a thing. It's really, it's sort of like the patting the head and rubbing the tummy. When you haven't done that, or when you do that for the first time, it is kind of confusing, right? So, and then when you change it and do it on what's not the dominant hand, then you go through something else as well. And it's all about getting the two sides of the brain to work together. And so this exercise, though it is also working to get the two sides of the brain together, we can learn something like that, or telling ourselves the truth, or not speaking harshly to ourselves. It's great and interesting on paper or as a conversation. And then you let it go. So that great idea doesn't get any energy, any practice, any effort behind it, right? And if you don't put in the energy and the practice and the effort, right, you are not going to build the skill. And when you do it and it's difficult, you are like, well, why do I really need to do that? But the reason you need to do it is that you want to train your brain to do what you frickin' say. You want want to train your brain to hang in there and do what you want to do, not what it wants to do or not do because it's difficult and uncomfortable and the surviving self doesn't like change. So anything that you can do to challenge yourself to be in charge of this real estate up here is a good thing. All right, y'all, have a fantastic day.